Good morning. Good morning. Thank you guys for joining us this beautiful Monday. Hope you guys are all having a great Monday so far and enjoying the beginning of the week. My name is Christian Marquez, and I'm going to be your host for today. We have the pleasure of having PNC Bank join us and help us discuss a little bit about how to strengthen your financial foundation. And then, of course, what's next, right? So we'll begin shortly. Thank you guys all for being here. Definitely, if you guys have any questions or anything, definitely we will have a Q&A available. And of course, you are more welcome to drop your question in the chat as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you guys are excited. So many guys might not be aware, but April is National Financial Literacy Month. And so we are excited to be celebrating this, right? And of course, we're going to be hosting a week of packed full, exciting educational sessions to empower you no matter where you are on your financial literacy journey, right? And of course, a lot of you guys might be interested in buying a home. So you guys are excited about that. So today we'll be having a talk with Audrina and Ramin about things that will help you strengthen your financial foundation. And I'll let them introduce themselves.
Good morning. Can you hear me, Christian?
Yes, ma'am. We sure can.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, well, I would love to introduce myself. My name is Audrina White. Hopefully, you can see me. My name is Audrina White, and I am with PNC Bank. I am a financial wellness consultant, and I am loving it here. I'm so excited to be here. I also have my colleague Ramin Loudermilk. He is actually trying to connect his audio right now. But Ramin, he is one of our financial sales consultants, and I work with him closely to assist. We're happy to be here. Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you guys. And thank you for joining us, right, early in the morning, Monday morning. So how better way to kick it off. So thank you for joining us. I definitely will let Ramin talk in a moment when he gets on. Hopefully, um, we can fix that out. So, one thing we want to talk about is, definitely Financial Literacy Week. Everyone want to talk about, the credit, the good stuff, the bad stuff. But, why is it essential to use a spending plan, which a lot of people now, call that, but it's, your budget, right? Tell us a little bit about that and what would you do in your situation if you're either meeting someone or any type of advice you'll give your mom, parent, sister, brother, whoever the case might be?
I think that's a fantastic question. Honestly, I think it just really just starts with us, being disciplined, trying to find a plan, right? Write a plan down on wherever our goals are, right? So if our goals is to maybe buy a home one day or even just get our finances just in control, just a regular everyday budget, I would say try it the old school way. Write it down, write it down, or utilize a tool that can assist you to manage all of your finances all in one, right? So you can see what's coming in versus what's coming out, and then what you're going to be saving. So that's what one thing that I would love to recommend. It's just starting from the basics first.
Of course, right? We love basics, and of course, you're still building that foundation. So what are some areas you've seen, right, when people are coming to meet you, right? Because they might be trying to do stuff on their own, they see stuff on Facebook, they see stuff on YouTube, Instagram, or they're studying online. What is something that you think they should know coming in, or you like? I wish I would have talked to them sooner, right?
I can barely hear you. Hold on, we have a little technical difficulties.
Oh no, you're fine.
Can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Can you hear me now? Does it sound better?
There we go. That's much better. Okay,
Okay.
run that question one more time. I can hear you better now, Christian.
Yeah. So no, my question was, if we wish, you meet the client sooner, right? What is something you wish you could have told them, or they should have been aware of, right? Because a lot of times now with the 21st century, they have smartphones, they have iPads, computers, that they're looking at everything on their own, or like, oh, I'm gonna figure it out on my own. But what if something's like, hey, you should really, be aware and talk to us before, or I wish I was able to tell them before they got into this either, issue or got in some trouble, right?
You're saying financial trouble, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes. Definitely. Yes.
So this is the thing, and I say this anytime I talk to anybody. We didn't get taught in school, or college, on how to manage our finances, right? Or manage our money, or what do we do? What do we do once we get our money? Or if I have a particular goal, or as far as opening up a business, or just anything, right? Where do I start? And a lot of people, I know there's a lot of things out there, such as Chime, those payday type of places, just different types of financial tools, right? Or financial banking, right? I think it's honestly my personal opinion. Ramin, you can hop in. I would say do your homework first. I think that's what we don't do. I think we usually make decisions based off what we've seen online, what we may see on TV, or maybe he say, she say, like, hey, you should go bank here, or hey, you should do this, you should do that, rather than doing our own research first. Because everybody' financial status is different, right? Everyone's financial goals are different. And so my personal opinion is, hey, do your homework first. Figure out what financial institution will be good for you. Figure out what your goals are. How do we get there? And I think we fail to plan, right? And one thing I've always heard was, when you fail to plan, your plan will fail. And that's huge for me. Ramin, you have anything you want to add to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
Okay, I was having technical issues. Sorry about that. But I was listening to what you all were saying, and planning is key, and doing your research is key. Um, One of the questions that he asked was, what do we wish some of the clients have done before we meet with them? And it's starting small. For me, I think if you like the picture, the change jar, we all carry around change, right? In your car, or you have a jar full of change. Start small. Just don't touch that jar, or start small by saving $1 here, $2 there, to maximize
Hmm.
your savings potential by starting small, doing your research, and seeing what bang you can get for your buck, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I love it, Raheem. And I think it's great because I
I
was gonna
love
bring up,
that.
automation, right? So, when we're talking about budgets, people, or a spending plan, now you hear that is, oh, well, I want a budget, right? I don't want to have limits. But instead, we need to think about, okay, how is it going to help me, right? How am I going to get to from point A to point B? Because I was always told you can have a dream, but if there's no plan, it's always going to be a dream, right? If we have a goal and you have a plan, then you can reach that goal. So that's how I kind of look at it. So thank you about bringing that up. But so how can someone automate it, right? When it comes to either a budget or savings, right? Because we all think of a dollar here, a dollar there, but that can add up, as we know, in the financial world,
Right, right, absolutely.
right? And so, what would you recommend for someone that's trying to maybe automate it, or is still having trouble with savings, right? Or even adding savings to their budget?
Sure. So
I
I
want to
think,
actually.
for,
Oh,
sorry, out of sight, out of mind,
go
right? So
ahead.
you have to get in that mindset. So if I log into my main bank account every day, right, and I'm also able to see my savings account, I'm like, oh, I have money in my savings account. So the way that I was raised through my mom, she said, if you work and you have a job, you want something, buy it, right? So that's the mindset that I had growing up. And it didn't take me till I got married and bills and all that till I started to realize, oh, my savings, out of sight, out of mind. That's for emergencies, right? So sometimes I recommend that people do their savings outside of their primary bank. So once you do set up that savings account, you don't see it, you don't touch it. You have to get in the mindset that once my checking account gets to this level, I'm done spending. That's it, no more, no less. And I know it's kind of difficult when you have kids or teenagers or grandkids. You want to spoil them, get them what they want, but you have to have that mindset that once I get to this point in my checking account, I'm done. I have so much cash allotted in my wallet. So once that cash is gone, it's gone. I have no more money. So I try to do like a $20 bill or maybe a $50 bill, and I'll have that $50 bill or that $20 bill in my wallet for weeks, because I feel like that's like, if I see something or if I want something, I don't have to dip into savings. I don't have to dip into my checking account. So that's another reason why I suggest sometimes carrying cash because you're limiting yourself to what you can spend. Audrina, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I love that. I was just trying to take myself off mute. I love that, Ramin. And I love that we're tag teaming because, you make a great point. And one thing that I wanted to add was, I know for me, and I always speak to myself first, when I first started budgeting, I did it old school way. And to this day, you guys don't laugh at me, but I still do it old school way. I write everything down. And, some people it will work for them and some it doesn't work. So if it works for you better to utilize it digitally, that's great. But again, just like I'm going to go reflect back to what we said in the beginning, is having a plan. I don't care if you save $5 or $5 to $10 every time you get paid. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. And just like Ramin said, it starts off small. Start off small. Don't give yourself, oh, I need to save $1,000, every time I get paid. Start off small, and you want to be consistent. Consistency is key. And so once you start being consistent and disciplined with yourself, you're going to go a long way, and you're going to see, hey, man, I got this amount of money that's saved. Maybe I'm able to go ahead and start that business. Maybe I'm able to go ahead and pursue, my purpose that I feel that I was created to be here for. So I would say, start off small and stay consistent and make sure you are disciplined.
For sure. No, I totally agree. And so speaking of savings, right? We always talk about savings and for a goal or just to put away, but how about when it comes to emergency funds, right? How much do you guys recommend people should talk about emergency fund, right? Or even they call it a rainy day fund, or people have a money in the under the mattress fund. What do you think, Audrina, is a good amount? And Raheem, you can definitely piggyback a little bit off of her, but what do you think is a good amount, but why also is important to have that just in savings or, in a separate account as well?
I'm going to start off by saying I don't ever put an amount, and I'm going to tell you why. Everybody's financial situation is different, okay? Some people can't afford $500 every month or every year or every 6 months. Some people can only afford $100. So it all depends on your income, right? Think about your income versus your bills, and how much you're going to be saving. Honestly, now, if I had to put a dollar amount, I would say max maybe $500 at minimum. That's if I had to put a dollar amount in there. Some people, again, they can't afford, $500 worth of emergency fund, but they can build themselves up to it. So I would say maybe 10% of your income each month will help. And again, and some people don't even have any debt. There's people out here that is adults who really don't have any debt. So they're able to put a certain amount of money aside to save for an emergency fund. Now, I would say emergency funds are very critical. And think about, I'm going to reflect back to the pandemic. Think about how many people lost their jobs, right? And didn't have $100 in their savings account. Okay. Think about how many people cars have broken down and they didn't have enough money to be able to get their car fixed and they still have to go to work, So I honestly, it's so much that is unexpected, right? That can occur. So that's really why it's really important to have an emergency fund, because when emergencies do occur, you'll have something to fall back on. One thing my mom always told me, do not work to live. You want to live and work. So when if you're living paycheck to paycheck, try to figure out a way how you can minimize your bills so you can maximize your savings account. So that's what I would recommend. Ramin, do you have anything to add?
I do. There's some things in the chat that I wanted to touch on. Tiffany, she said something about living paycheck to paycheck and being a single parent. Are there any tips for that? So that's something dear and near to my heart because, there are a lot of single parents out there, whether it's single mothers, single fathers, right? So it just all depends on your particular situation, right? So if you are shopping smart, shop for the deals. There are a lot of coupon things that you can clip. And as far as an emergency savings, I too don't like to put a number on it because we're all in different situations, right? We may have dual income households, or we may have single home incomes. So the situations can be different across the board, right? So as long as you're able to at least, people think you have to put this high dollar amount into a savings, all right? So I say start small. If you have an extra dollar, move that dollar over to a savings account, or move that dollar into your penny jar or a jar. Those are just some little things that you can do to try to get that savings or that emergency savings when you are living paycheck to paycheck. And like I said, I know there's different situations and everyone's in every different kind of situation, right? But you have to shop smart, shop at Aldi's, shop at Walmart, those things that give you those discounts where you are able to pinch here, pinch there. What's that old saying? Rob Peter to pay Paul, or something like
Mhm.
that. Just make it work for you. Just mm, pay attention to your budget. Pay attention what you're spending. You know, you can cut back on name brand items and go for the cheaper items. I love Cheerios, and I went to Aldi's the other day and I bought the off brand. It was like a
Yeah.
$1.99 versus $4 at the grocery store, like a
Mhm.
Kroger, you know. So it's just making those small adjustments. Yes, someone said thrift stores. My mom was a big thrifter, and those are some ways to school clothes, school supplies, books, things like that. Just you got to think outside the box. So that's what I have
For
to
sure.
add.
No, no, and I love you guys' conversation. Definitely is important, and like you said, right, the dollar amount is up to you, right? Everyone's situation is different, and I got that from both you guys, and it's true, right? We have people that are making 40,000, some people that are making 80,000, some people that are making 120,000, but everyone's fund is different. But they should definitely have an emergency fund, right? Or what we like to people call the rainy day fund, right? To covers a tire being blown out, or not you're not working for a couple of days or covering a bill, because we're gonna get into it, right? What happens when they don't have the money saved? They use a credit card, right? And go into bad debt. And so, let's talk about credit because that's important. People are going to ask questions about that. And so, we know having credit is really essential, especially for reaching our financial goals, right? Including, getting a credit card, buying a car, becoming a homeowner, and obtaining insurance, which a lot of people are not aware of. So what will you guys consider a good credit and factors that are the most important when it comes to your credit score and then things about your credit report? Raheem, I'll let you go first on this one.
Thanks,
Mhm.
Christian. So credit is another one of my favorites, right? So credit, you have to protect that like it's your firstborn child, right? Your credit is very important because it can affect all aspects of your life, employment, housing. So those are things that you want to pay attention to when you're thinking about your credit score, right? So if you are struggling with credit, or if you have great credit, awesome. I'd love to hear some people share some best practices, what they do or what they've done to increase their credit score. So there's things like secure credit cards where you're using your money to back your credit card instead of the bank's money, right? So for example, a secure credit card, you want to start small, $300, right? That would be your credit limit. You hold that card for 6 to 12 months. You use that secure credit card for gas, groceries, everything that you were going to use your money for in your checking account. Use that secure credit card to establish that credit, right? And then once you establish that credit, then apply for one credit card. There's no sense of having 5, 6, 7 credit cards and you're spreading yourself thin. You're putting a balance here, you're putting a balance there, then you're putting a balance here. It's use it smartly. Use it for things that you can pay off before the end of the month, or at that month, pay it off. So you're only paying what you put on that credit card. You're not paying interest if you pay it before 30 days. Audrina?
I love that. For some reason, I can't see you guys anymore, but it's okay. I think you honestly, you hit it on the nail, Ramin. I don't even know what else to add. You did so good.
I did see
I
a
but one
question.
one thing
Someone
I
said,
oh, go ahead.
sorry, Audrina. I was going to say,
Go
someone said,
ahead.
what have you done to increase your credit score? And that would be the secure credit card or opening up a line of credit, not multiple lines. Sorry, I just saw that question.
It's okay. And another thing I want to add is to make sure you're keeping your credit limit under 30%. Don't use more than 30% of the credit card balance. So let's say you have $300 limit. You don't want to use the whole $300. you want to make sure you use at least, no more than 30%. I usually say 20% because that's what keeps me disciplined. But 30% or more can decrease your credit score.
Yeah, no, awesome. Of course, another cool gem. A lot of people don't like to find out about gems. The young kids are saying it. What is a good resource? Definitely also being added on as an authorized user. I've been told, if you can have someone you trust that has good credit or is helping you in your financial goals, sometimes you can, if it's a family member, get it on. That opens up some trade lines, and also you get to join their history, and that helps, right? Because 35% of your credit score is off payment history, right? And so if you don't have a long history of payments, that is going to definitely take a while to grow. So that we enjoy that. And so, of course, part of, laying down our financial foundation also is about starting to plan for ahead, right? For our future, right? So I call it Christian playing Mr. Marquez, so for retirement. So when we started off with our plan, what do we need to do when it comes to save or save up for retirement? Can you talk a little bit about that, Raheem, about, more 401ks and employer contributions and things like that?
Absolutely. So if your company offers a 401k plan, it's a great way to start for your investment. For your retirement. So always look at your 401 as your retirement. In some situations, your company may match what you contribute to your 401. So those are great ways to increase or maximize your 401k. Audrina, do you have anything to add?
I think Audrina's having technical difficulties.
Audrina? Yeah, so we may have lost Audrina, but yeah, so just your 401k, yeah, that's a great way to start your retirement. There's IRAs that you can look into as well. If you have the opportunity to talk to a financial advisor, they can help you with locating, any 401ks out there that you didn't know you had, that your employer may have been matching and you may have not been matching. So you may have a 401k out there that you don't know about. So those are just things that you want to take some time to look into. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we actually have someone that's mentioning about they're using a credit agency to help with their credit. And that actually ties with the last question I have for you guys is, how does ensuring the proper insurance and having the right coverage is going to play a big role into strengthening our financial foundation?
One more time, Christian. I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, sorry. So no, I was trying to kill two birds with one stone. We had a question.
Yeah.
A client actually was talking about their credit, how they're using a credit agency to help clean up their credit, but unfortunately, she had an accident and her car was totaled, and so now she still owes on her car and has to pay that back. So she's going to start from stage one. But that ties into our last question about how does ensuring that we have proper insurance coverage and the right type of insurance will help us in, keeping our financial foundation at bay, but also growing that as well. Yes.
I would say someone mentioned what I was going to say, gap insurance. So when you have a car payment or you get a new car, you may have gap insurance. So that will cover any total loss. So you're not stuck with paying for something that you can't drive anymore. So gap insurance is always a good backup plan. Also, again, Audrina mentioned it, do your research. So before you go get a new car, think about those things. Think about the type of insurance do you need, full coverage, liability. You may have to increase your deductible or decrease your deductible to make it fit within your budget. So in those instances, yes, gap insurance would have covered that particular incident, and protecting her savings and all of that. But without gap insurance or the proper insurance, you hit the head on the nail. You'll have to start from scratch. That's what I got for you.
Sorry, you guys, I was trying to take myself off of mute. But no, you said it right, Ramin. The gap insurance, I know that's one thing I learned years ago to make sure that I have that before I even finish signing off the rest of my documents and buying that car. It's very imperative to have that. And when you have to start from scratch, I've been there, I've done that. It's very frustrating. because you're going to still need another car. So I get it. I totally get it. I agree with Ramin is, having gap insurance moving forward when you buy your next car. I hope that helps.
And so I'll start with you, Audrina. What about life insurance? Like what's the difference between whole and term, or should people even have that? Or, oh no, I'm young, I can get that later. How about that?
Well, I'm not an insurance expert, but I will tell you personally, and why I feel it is very imperative to have it. Think about, if you have children. I know me, I have two children. It's imperative for me to have life insurance because, Lord forbid, if something happened to me, I want to be able to I want my children to be able to have, some financial stability while I'm not here. Also, I have a mortgage, I have a few properties, I have a car. I don't want the state to take it, so that's where life insurance come in. If something happened to me, Lord forbid, the insurance will take care of my mortgage. The insurance will also pay off my car. I have insurance through my lender at my credit union, who I finance my car through. So they have accidental death, or if something happened to you, if you pass away, then the insurance, an example. My mom had a Honda Accord, and she had it with Capital One Bank. And I remember telling her, make sure you have gap insurance, make sure you have, you sign up on the insurance. If you ever die, that the bank will pay for that. Well, unfortunately, a few years ago, that's what ended up happening. She ended up passing away. And that's one thing I didn't have to worry about, was her car. Her car was paid off by the bank. They sent us a title. And that's one thing that I don't have to worry about, right? Think about you're living and you're paying, you're paying your bills, you're paying your car note, or you're paying your mortgage. If something happens, you don't want nobody else to take it,
Yeah, for
you want
sure.
it to be paid off, and be able to, give it to whomever you choose to. And another thing I want to add to that is making sure you have a will in place. Think about when something happens and you go to a funeral and people fighting over who's supposed to have what. Have a will in place. That's imperative as well. With that will, nobody else can touch your things except whoever is in that will. Whoever you give your property to. So that's imperative. Anything you want to add, Ramin?
Yeah, I was going to say your employers as well. Some employers offer your year's salary as your life insurance if
They
something were
do.
to happen to you. So that's something that you can look into with your jobs, make sure that they have or offer some type of life insurance. Also, you can seek life insurance outside of your employer. Again, like Audrina, I'm not a licensed insurance banker, but these are just some tips through my life experience. Wills, like Audrina touched on wills, make sure that you sit down, write out a will, get it notarized, and that will suffice as people not fighting over your possessions, right? And again, if you have kids or family members that you want to leave things to, an estate account, those are things that you can set up too as well. So those are just my two tips. Just look into your job and see if they offer some type of life insurance. Usually, like I said, it's like your year's salary. Wills in estate accounts, so those will kind of protect your monies and your possessions.
Yeah, no, thank you guys, thank you. And a little plug: we are going to be talking more about wills and life insurance and personal insurance on one of our Wednesday webinars. So definitely hope you guys can attend. But with that being said, we actually are coming to an end. So I do want to let you guys know. Thank you guys for joining us today. It was been a pleasure. Again, we had PNC Bank, and they've been amazing. Hope you guys love them. And of course, we do have our second webinar of the day coming up. It's going to be at 12 p.m. It's going to be about rethinking your budget and to combat inflation with Harmony CDC. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any questions, we'll be here for a few minutes. You guys more welcome to drop it in the chat. But thank you, Ramin. Thank you, Audrina. You guys been amazing. Hope you guys have a great week, and hope you guys enjoy your financial literacy week.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Again,
Thank you.
you
And
can
again,
always
if you
reach out
guys
with
have any
questions.
questions, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you guys are on cue.
That's
Thank
what I was
you.
going to add, Ramin. Thank you. Thank you.